Welcome, everyone, to Full Count, Sports Memo's MLB betting coverage show, coming to you live every weekday, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be covering baseball with some of the best handicappers, analysts, columnists, and sports bettors on the planet. We're going to be giving out free picks on several games for today's card and plenty of time for you to get down on them. I'm your host, world champion handicapper, and Las Vegas's biggest daily sports bettor, Joe D'Amico. Joining me today and giving out today's winners, we've got an all-star panel to finish off the week, guys. We've got the body himself, Jesse Schule, and the hardest-working man in sports betting, John Ryan. Welcome, Jesse. Welcome, John.
What it do, baby?
Happy Friday to you both. It is Friday. I know John's a hard-working guy. He does a lot of shows. I think he's doing like 5 shows today. I know Jesse's hard at work on those leaderboards, kicking butt and taking names. Guys, I have 2 quick announcements before we go into our first of 3 roundtable games and our best bet segment. First, guys, how would you like to bet right alongside your favorite Sports Memo handicapper for the next 40 days for under $5 a day? Well, Sports Memo's got you covered. A 30-day all-access pass priced at $299, but for a limited time, not only are we discounting the price by $100, we're also adding 10 more days absolutely free. So to recap, the next 40 days, you're going to get all plays across all sports from your favorite Sports Memo capper played during your access, including 5% best bets for under $5 a day. If you already have an existing all-access pass, no worries, as your 40 days will not begin until your current package expires. I have one more announcement, guys. This is on a personal note. And Jesse, don't worry, I'm not going to talk the Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays situation anymore. I want to send a special shout out to the man, to the legend maker, my father, Sal Buster D'Amico. He turned 90 last night. I love you, Pop. We went over to Mod 32. Jesse and I are foodies. We were talking before the show. We went over to Mod 32. It's supposed to have the best duck in the world, and I got to tell you, they did not disappoint. We'd like to thank everybody over at the Palazzo and the Venetian who checked in on us, took care of us. Great meal. My father, Jesse, John, you'll get a kick out of him. Back in the 40s, my father was a teenager. He used to bet 50 place on a horse. He's an animal. He is the original Vegas betting icon. I can tell you, he's 90. He's still chasing cocktail waitresses and gambling for 36 hours at a time. This stuff I can't do at 53 or even at 23 that he's doing at 90. So happy birthday, Sal Buster D'Amico. We love you. Without any further ado, we've got 3 roundtable games and a best bet segment that Jesse, John, and myself will be chiming in about. The first game today we're going to be talking about, guys, is the Brewers at the Braves. Now, I took a short nap because at my age, you need a nap, guys. I took a short nap before I went to sleep. The Braves are a slight favorite. I woke up. Milwaukee's now $1.10, 8.5 under, minus $1.20. Let's go to the body himself, Jesse Schule.
Well, the most notable thing for me about this game is that the starting pitcher for the Brewers the starting pitcher for the Braves shares a name with myself. Jesse Chavez, 38 years old, comes out of the bullpen, but he does have a ton of experience, some as a starter. And he has an ERA of 2.89 with 13 strikeouts in 12 and 2/3 innings. So he's not doing too badly. Eric Lauer goes for the Brewers, 2-0 with a 1.93 ERA. Lauer is off to a great start, which is a little surprising. He is better at home than he is on the road. He logs more innings at home than he does on the road. I really only expect him to go 5 innings today. The Braves opened as a slight favorite or a pick'em, and Milwaukee's moved into the favorite spot. This game isn't that exciting to me, but if I had to go one way or the other, I think the value does lie with the home team. And maybe a sneaky play on the under, but really small stake on that because, like I say, this game doesn't interest me that much.
Guys, he is a perennial leaderboard fixture. Jesse Schule says if he played at home team and possibly the under. We're going to go, by the way, Jesse, good rundown, good analysis as usual. Thank you. And always entertaining. Both first names, Jesse. Love it, love it, love it. We're going to go to one of the best technical analysts I know in this business, in the history of this business, John Ryan. I know whatever take he has on this game is going to be interesting. John, take it away, please.
Thank you for the compliment, Joe, as always. And I do agree with Jesse. It's not a game that is really on my radar, but I would side with the Atlanta Braves. Jesse Chavez is a guy that is a different type of starting pitcher. He's not the typical first pitch fastball or first pitch sinker. he's going to throw a cutter, and he throws it a lot. And it's a natural style cutter. It's not like a cutter that you have to learn how to throw, but it's effective. But it's not effective when it's up in the zone, and that applies to any starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. But he's made mistakes up in the zone. He is exit velocity of batters is 93 miles an hour, which is not good. That's way too high. Launch angle even more startling at 16.4 degrees, because at 17.5 degrees, you're at optimal launch and distance of a ball hit by a batter. So I do have a little concern with that, being in Atlanta tonight. Temperatures are rising. That's, new stadium still gives up I think it's going to give up more home runs than the old stadium did. That aside, you have Eric Lauer going on the hill for the Brewers. The Brewers are 18-8, guys. And Atlanta, reigning world champs, are 3 games under 500. So what's the betting public going to do? They're going to bet the Brewers. And I think that's why we've seen the crossover while Joe D'Amico was taking his 2.5-hour nap this afternoon, and while Jesse and I were still hard at work. But seriously, I like the Braves here, and maybe a slight lean to the over.
Okay. Well, great minds think alike on the side. By the way, John, great angles. We appreciate that. John says he would go with the Braves, but unlike Jesse, he said he'd go over. So we're going to keep an eye on both of those. Maybe you guys could bet a little dinner on that total together. I know Jesse's a big eater, John. So I got to tell you, if he wins that bet, bring your wallet. He's a big eater like me. Sports fans, that's the first of 3 round table games. Let's go right into our second game. Interesting matchup. Padres are hosting the Marlins. Currently, San Diego minus $1.35, 6.5 over minus $1.15. Jesse, if you will.
Well, I first glance at this game, I really want to find a reason to take the Marlins as the underdog, especially if I could get a good price on the run line. But I don't think that's going to happen. Generally, I don't like Yu Darvish, the starter for San Diego. He's going today, and he's been damn good. I mean, he's 2-1 with a 4.4 ERA. That ERA is a little inflated from one bad start he had. He's not as consistent as I'd like to see for a guy that you're going to bet on as a favorite. He does have a tendency to get rocked on occasion. But the Marlins will send Alcantara to the mound. He's 2-1 with a 1.90 ERA. Last year, he faced the Padres once, tossed 7 scoreless innings with 7 strikeouts, allowed just 4 hits, winning at Petco. So, he comes in with decent numbers. He's proven he can do it. He's certainly capable of coming in here and shutting down the Padres. The total at 6.5 is a little low, but all these stats are screaming under. The Padres have gone under in 6 of their last 7 as a home favorite. The under is 7-3 in the last 10 head-to-head meetings. I like the under. I don't like the line. I'm probably going to pass myself, but if I was going to play this game, it would be on the under.
You'll see the body. Schule says if he would play it, it would be on the under, which is the second under out of 2 roundtable games already for Jesse the Body Schule. Good angles, Jesse. Thank you very much. John Ryan, Marlins at Padres, $1.35, 6.5. They're begging you to play this game, play this total. We've seen quite a few of these totals over the last week. The 6s, 6.5s. We're seeing quite a few. Usually earlier on in the season, we're seeing a couple of ballparks be the 10s and the 11s, but we're seeing some smaller totals. I would say overall, but we're seeing these 6.5s over the last few weeks. I'm interested to see what you have to say about the Marlins Padres side, and hopefully maybe you have something on that total too. Take it away, John.
Thanks, Joe. I do have a lean on. It actually might be more than a lean when I get done with this analysis, but both starting pitchers come into this matchup in good form. And like Jesse said, Darvish is one of the most erratic guys you can have in a game. And he can make you very nervous if you do bet the under because he's been known in his career to give up that 3-run shot at any given moment. But I think right now he's in a solid enough form where I can trust it. And, Sandy Alcantara is one of my favorite pitchers on the Miami staff, and they are loaded, folks, with pitching talent. They've lost 5 games in a row. I still think they're going to be a 500 team come the end of the season. But in this game, he comes into this start over last 3 starts, 2.75 ERA, 1.220 WHIP, spanning 19 and 2/3 innings of work. That averages 6 and 2/3 innings of work. Essentially, just about every single start he has is a quality start. A quality start is 6 innings minimum. You allow 3 runs or less. His last start, he went 5 and 2/3, which doesn't qualify. He gave up 5 earned runs, got hammered for the first time this year. He has an impeccable ability, and that's why these guys are major league pitchers, and why you want in the future identify guys like this that get hammered, because they bounce back with a very, very good effort in the next game. And I think you'll see that out of Sandy tonight. Darvish, he comes into this game with a 1.93 ERA and a .911, which, again, control has been his problem in his career. But now it seems like he may have turned the page, and control is a lot better. So I am going to take the under here, but I'm going to tell you a little corollary to this. I love in-game betting. So I'm going to do 50% pre-flop and see how the first 2-3 innings go. And if there's scoring in game, you're probably going to you might be lucky enough to get 7.5, maybe even 8 if they're scoring early in the game. So I'm going 50% pre-flop at 6.5 under, and then I'll look to add at higher numbers as the game evolves.
John Ryan talking the under and the pre-flop. You know, John likes to play poker too. He's a jack of all trades. Good analysis, John. John, let me ask you this. You know, we're seeing a lot of games now. You know, over the years, we've seen where, you know, one pitcher gets a start for an inning, and then you get the bulk pitcher, and then you get, you know, other games where they coaches have got a pitcher going an inning in and inning out. How do you personally, because I know you look at a lot of different angles, how do you handicap games like that, where you know there's a pitcher going in for an inning, then there's a bulk pitcher, or there's a pitcher, he's going to be changing pitchers every inning? How do you handicap things like that?
Well, I think, first of all, when I see a game like that, I make note of it for the next game, because the Giants did that last night against the Cardinals. So that means only one pitcher, I think it was Little, went 2 innings. The rest of them all went an inning or less. So the Giants now tonight have full bullpen strength. And a lot of these teams do it because their bullpen's been overworked, or their starters are overworked, or somebody got injured and missing a start. And it gives them a breather. It also gives them a chance to win the game. But if I was on the Cardinals, which I was last night and the night before, then it adds more fire to the bullishness I would have on that team going up against the team other than the Tampa Bay Rays that's doing a starter, which is a bullpen game. You know, where you know that, like a Yarborough is only going to go 1 inning.
Okay. All righty. Good stuff, John. I appreciate that. By the way, John, I do want to tell you that I need your address. I'm going to send you New York Yankee Stadium backdrop for you to start using on the show. It'll look a little bit nicer than that Fenway backdrop. Just my opinion. And, hey, guys, sports fans.
That's up too if you want.
Sports fans, we have another roundtable game, and then we've got our best bet segments. So for our third of 3 roundtable games, guys, Cardinals at Giants, San Francisco, $1.25. 7 over -120. Jesse, the body Schule. And before the show, Jesse and I were chatting. You know, we had a couple of games that were postponed already, you know, today. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, prior to doing this show, we've had 3 games already postponed today. A little frustrating for guys like Jesse, myself, and John, who are up all night handicapping games. Jesse, I know it's frustrating. I know that you had something on a game that was then postponed. You know, I don't know if people out there know how much time you personally put in, but I know that you put a lot of hours in. While I'm up at 1, 2 in the morning, I know you're already up and doing a lot of stuff. I know you put a lot of time into this. How frustrating does it get for you once you put a game up, or you're looking at a game, then all of a sudden all your hard work, obviously, game is postponed due to weather? Can you touch about that real quick, please?
It's pretty frustrating, but perhaps less frustrating than having a run line dog or an over in a game that's shortened by rain and doesn't count, you know? Like the other day, I think the Yankees were winning 9-1. It went 8 innings. They were in the 9th inning, and the umps called the game, and anybody who had the Yankees run line lost. That's perhaps more frustrating. So looking on the bright side, I'd rather it just be postponed.
The glass is half full for Jesse Schule. I love that way of thinking, Jesse. Jesse, if you would take the Cardinals Giants, please tell us your take on it. We would love that.
Yeah, are you sure the Giants are the favorite here? I'm scratching my head trying to figure out what's going on. The Cardinals come in as winners of 4 of 5. They took game 1 by a score of 7-1. A lot of talent in that Cardinals lineup with Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, etc. The Giants, on the other hand, they are losing like crazy. The other day on Wednesday's show, we weren't sure who the starting pitcher for the Dodgers was going to be. I asked my friend The Rock who's starting for the Dodgers, and he said, it doesn't matter what his name is. And it proved not to matter. The Dodgers won that game handily. And as I mentioned in that game, the injuries for the Giants with Wade Jr., Duggar, Longoria, La Stella, and Belt all out of the lineup has left them with what looks like a minor league lineup. I mean, let's face it, there's not a lot of recognizable names, a lot of proven producers coming up to the plate for the Giants these days. And for them to be a favorite in this game with Alex Cobb going, Cobb couldn't even get out of the first inning in his last start. And he allowed a bunch of runs in just 2/3 of an inning and a loss to the Nationals. He's allowed 14 runs in 10 innings total this season. And John mentioned that the Giants used 9 different pitchers yesterday. Well, they might need to use a bunch of different pitchers today. And you got to like the Cardinals as an underdog here until the Giants get their players back and prove that they can get back on the horse. The Giants are a fade for me.
There you go, Jesse Schule. Good analysis, Jesse, and always entertaining, the colorful Jesse Schule. I will tell you this, looking at this game, the Giants, obviously, Jesse touched on a lot of injuries. And, John and I have talked about this once or twice already on this show this season. Unlike other teams in the NL Central, the Cardinals are the only team not in a rebuilding or have to acclimate some big names on their team. They stood pat in the offseason. So they went into this season, I think, a little more stable and steady. So you know what to get with them. And they're playing good, solid baseball. John Ryan, the hardest working guy in sports betting. I'd love to know your take on the Cardinals Giants, please.
I think Jesse's absolutely right with this. You don't catch the falling knife, as Steve Merrill and I like to say, and the Giants are that analogy. They're losing in ways that aren't quite as admirable as what the Phillies did last night, but they're still losing games. And let's not forget, with all due respect, they are the oldest team in baseball. They were last year. They won over 100 games. And to repeat that 2 years in a row would be just unimaginably great for their team and their fan base. But I think you're starting to see a little bit of that wear and tear, even though we're only in the beginning week of May. So when we get into summer, it will be very interesting to see where this team is in the standings. I'm willing to bet that the Dodgers will be at least 10 games ahead of them this season. Last year, remember, they were chasing them down the whole season and never really did, with the Dodgers being the wild card. So I don't think the Dodgers want to be in that situation ever again. But in this game here with the Alex Cobb, his ability to generate ground balls is phenomenal. And that's truly what the Giants need. They need 1, 2, 3 innings. They need, score 2 runs, get out there, quick inning, back in the dugout, get back up on offense. But I don't see that happening. But if it could happen tonight, I think they have the right guy on the hill with Alex Cobb. Again, exit velocity is outstanding at 85 miles per hour. Hard hit percentage is 29, which is outstanding. Expected batting average of 189 is outstanding. But they're going against a very fundamentally sound St. Louis Cardinals team. So I have to throw my hands up in the air. And if anything, I would go with the over, because the last time I checked, guys, in order for the Giants to win games, they got to score more runs than they have in the last week. You got to score like 5 runs tonight against Jordan Hicks, or they have problems that we don't even know about.
Okay. Good analysis.
So I like the over.
John Ryan likes the over there. Good point, John. As usual, great technical analysis. We love your breakdowns. Sports fans, don't go anywhere, because the most exciting part of the show, the best bet segment, where each one of the panelists, and I'm going to be chiming in at the end as well, gives their best bet for the day. First, I'd like to ask Jesse. Jesse, I know you're doing some great work over at Sports Memo. You're on multiple sport leaderboards. You're kicking butt and taking names. I know that me and you talked a few times earlier this week, and we did the first family show. You're doing great in NBA. I know you're on multiple sport leaderboards. So before you give your best bet, can you take a second, tell everybody what you're excited about maybe tonight or over the weekend over at Sports Memo, and then go right into the best bet segment?
Well, it's going to be a big weekend. We got that big UFC 274 going on with two big fights with the Chandler Ferguson and Gaethje and Oliveira. Of course, the NBA slate is loaded after taking a day off yesterday, and NHL playoffs and baseball. And I'm already stacked. I've already got plays on all those things I mentioned, and I'm on fire. I don't know what else to say. You can check the leaderboards and see for yourself. Anyways, as far as best bets go, I had planned on taking the Phillies-Mets game, and that was rained out. So I had to call an audible at the last minute. I don't have a ton to say about this game, but what caught my eye is something that a lot of people probably overlooked. The Rockies on the road at Arizona. Arizona is coming home from a long road trip. It's their first home game, and they're a favorite in this game. And perhaps you weren't aware, but Arizona ranks dead last in the major leagues in team batting average. And who ranks first? That's the Colorado Rockies. So you got the best hitting team in baseball against the worst hitting team in baseball. And the best hitting team is an underdog. Odd. Colorado's got a better record. Colorado's just playing better ball. And you got two hot pitchers going with Cool and Merrill Kelly. You'd have to think the advantage goes to Kelly. He's more established, more expected to have a good year this year than Cool would have been. Cool's great numbers so far might be fool's gold, but with that Rockies lineup being superior to Arizona, the fact that they could pick them up and they're more likely to score more runs here, you got to like the value with the Rockies as an underdog.
Jesse the Body Schule says, take advantage of the peculiarity that the Rockies are a dog here. They shouldn't be. There's a lot of value. Jesse, that's a great breakdown. Sports fans, trust me, take advantage of that 40-day any capper after the show. Go by Jesse Schule. He does multiple sports. He's on the leaderboard of multiple sports. It'll pay for itself in no time. Really, guys, breakdown, Jesse. Thank you. Now we're going to go to a technical guy, who I think is one of the most technical guys in the business. John Ryan's going to give you his take on the best bet. But, John, before you do that, can you tell everybody what you're guys, John sent me some of his streaks. There were so many to read, I would need another 30 minutes to break them down. So John's going to tell you about his couple of his stats and what he's got going on tonight and over the weekend over at SportsMemo. And he's got a different take on the best bet for today's show. Very interested to hear what you got, John.
Thanks, Joe. Running hot in the NBA, still 21-6 run for 77% over the last 26 plays. Also, longer term, over the last 77 NBA best bet releases I've made on SportsMemo.com, they're hitting 68%. And I'm 7-2 against the spread for the season in NBA 5% max bets. Guess what? I have one going tonight. And you can get it right now at sportsmemo.com for $19. And I highly recommend you get a subscription for any one of the three of us, because you can get 40 days for the price of 30, less another $100. You pay $199 and you get 10 days free. It's like saving $248, folks. And you get 40 days all access of any one of us. And any one of us is deserving of your hard-earned money. So, Jesse, I was looking at the same game, and we don't rehearse these before we go on the air. And it would have been interesting to know what you were doing, and it's probably smart that you did an audible. But I saw how the frickin' Phillies lost last night. I had a friend that was playing poker last night, and I think he just about damn near puked when they blew a 6-run lead. It was 7-1 going into the ninth. This is only the 21st time this has happened, which I guess the Phillies kind of feel is an honor since they are in that group of 21 now, to blow a 6-run lead in the ninth. So how does my brain work? Well, what happens next? I want to know what happens next. So I put it through the database, and lo and behold, I am going to go with this as my best bet. And it's probably going to be a game tomorrow. I think the weather clears up in the afternoon in the Philadelphia region, the last I saw. But teams who have collapses of 6 or more, blowing a 6 or more run lead in the 9th inning, in the next game, the team that won the game is involved in this query. The over is 10-2-1 in the next game, 83% winners on the over. So I'm hoping that Scherzer is going to be still penned in there for the starter for the Mets, because that'll keep the total down around 7, which is where it was today. So with this incredible collapse last night, it presents us with an opportunity now to see how this sets up on Saturday in a possible doubleheader. I take the over in the next game that the Mets and the Phillies play. And that's it.
John Ryan says that's it. And the famous words of Forrest Gump, that's all I've got to say about that. John Ryan says over at Mets Phillies next time they meet. So good stuff. Now, guys, my good friend Jesse Schule, Jesse and I talk quite a bit. We do quite a few shows a week, but we talk quite a bit. We're good friends. He told me, Joe, last night, my daughter and I were looking at the computer, and we didn't see your picture on the SportsMemo board, and that's rare. And I said, well, Jesse, I didn't have a game. I passed last night. And sports fans, I got to tell you, I'm a less is more type of capper. All right. I'd rather have one wife like Heidi Klum than 100 like Rosie O'Donnell. I said it before. I'll say it again. So that's why you didn't see my picture up there last night, Jesse. I'm not here to give you guys action. I'm here to give you winners, and nothing was. Let me put it this way, guys. If I'm not betting, I can't ask you to bet. And I didn't bet anything yesterday. But there is something that almost made it to a premium play today. I want to tell you about in a second. But let me tell you what I got going on tonight. Guys, if I may. Sports fans, when all of my Vegas odds-making, sportsbook, and sports betting contact sources and pipelines come in with the same team as my staff and I, it becomes a Las Vegas strip move play. Today in the NBA, I have just that, a Las Vegas strip move play for you. My LVSMs, 14-4 this NBA season. Be on this winning release, and you'll be on the same information as some of the sharpest betting minds in Vegas. I have it available right now. Right now, Sports Memo. $7. You can't get a lap dance on Boulder Highway for $7. I'll tell you that. Now, as far as my best bet today, guys, let's go to the diamond. Guys, it doesn't matter to me that the Astros are in second place in the AL West right now. I still feel they are the best team in this division. They won 4 straight and 8 of the last 10, which includes game 1 of this series yesterday. As a matter of fact, during their 4-game win streak, they have outscored opponents by a combined 17-4. Their bats are starting to heat up, and their pitching has been spot on. They once again get to go against the American League's worst team, the 8-16 Detroit Tigers. God, it's ugly up in Detroit. Detroit's pitching, which in all sincerity wasn't all that bad the first few weeks of the season, started to unravel. And when your offense ranks 29th, averaging a mere 3 runs per game, you're going to start piling up losses. Brisky is making just his 3rd start of his major league career, while Garcia, in 2 lifetime turns against the Tigers, 1-0 with a 1.74. Houston's hot. Detroit's not. I'll lay the 1.5 with the Astros here. I like the Astros to come alive tonight, really. I think that they've been playing some real good ball, some very stable ball. I like them tonight. I'm taking them on the run line. Let's bring everybody back. Guys, it was a great show today. Jesse, you're always so entertaining and informative that you always make me laugh and smile every time I do a show with you. I appreciate that. I know everybody out there does too. Any closing thoughts or comments before we say sayonara for the weekend?
Sure. I'll just add that I did like John's analysis on the Phillies Mets. That was going to be my best bet before the rainout. I liked the over in that game, but I had a bit of a different take. The reason I was going to go with was the fact that these lineups are going to be facing the same starting pitchers for the second time in a week, and a lot of the stuff that John said, and the value with the total being so low coming off of a game where they scored 18 runs or 17 runs or something like that.
Great stuff, Jesse. We appreciate all your contributions. You know, you're a big part of the reason why Sports Memo, our video content, is really, it's just the numbers keep increasing, and we thank you for all you do, because you do work a lot. I always say John's the hardest working guy in sports betting, but you work your butt off, and we do appreciate all you do here. I know all the customers out there that are following you do too, because you're always on the leaderboards. John Ryan, one of the best technical guys I've ever worked with. An honor to work with you. John, any closing thoughts or comments before we say goodbye for the weekend?
Well, I'm not trying to digress here, but I couldn't help myself during the show. We all play poker, right? So, Joe, you're at the same table as Jesse Schule and me. Who are you going to have the most confidence reading the best? Either Jesse or me, who goes like this, whether I have pocket aces or 2-5.
Well, that's the time I go to the bar and I get a drink, guys. That's all I want to tell you. I'm not picking between you two. That's like between getting a slap by Mike Tyson or a punch by my wife. It doesn't matter. They're both going to hurt. I'm not going to fake out with either one of you guys because I respect and adore both of you. All right,
Sounds good to me.
Guys, always great stuff. Guys, follow John Ryan. As I said, for Jesse, they walk it like they talk it. All over the leaderboards. That 40-day all sports inclusive. Follow John. It'll pay for itself in no time. Follow Jesse. Follow myself, guys. This is the time of year your cream rises to the top, and you've got the cream right here. Jesse, John, and Joe D'Amico, 3 of the best in the industry. Numbers don't lie. We walk it like we talk it. Sports fans, before we say goodbye, be sure to tune in every weekday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, to this show, Full Count, Sports Memos, MLB betting coverage show. We come at you live with special guests each and every day. And don't forget that 40-day discount, $199 at Sports Memo. My friends, this is Joe D'Amico on behalf of Sports Memo, Jesse Schule, John Ryan. Good luck and have a winning day.